Oh, that was invigorating. I want to tell you, you don't do that. Do you realize that I am sitting here in my little assisted living quarters, shivering because of that water? Now, water is very healthy and it clears the brain. And it's a good thing because our special guest this morning requires that my brain be clear. It is our good friend, Bil Lewis, who is with us. And we're going to talk with Bill about how to turn my life around. Hey, Tara, how are you doing, dear? And I have an introduction that you sent, which I'm going to read part of. It says, Bil Lewis earned a master's degree in computer science at IU, Idaho U?
Indiana University.
Oh, silly, anybody would know that. Indiana U in 1978. Integrated development environments and bioinformatics at Stanford, Tufts, and MIT, and Harvard. My God, man. And do you want to give me the rest of it? Or do you want
yes. I obsessed about computers and computer science and thinking about thinking. Oh my God, life was glorious. I had the best time. I got to work with some of the greatest minds in the world, which was really cool and also really intimidating.
I would think so. Like who greatest minds did you work with?
Oh, well, I was at Stanford Research Institute, so at the Artificial Intelligence Center. So if you feel familiar with neural networks, ever heard of those things?
Yeah.
No, we had Nils Nilsson. He was one of the, and anyway, and it was wonderful. And you've probably heard of Google. Have you ever heard of Google?
Heard of it.
So I reported to the president. He almost fired me at one point when I was on Microsystems.
Well, as you begin to go along and you're learning these things, now you're also a Toastmaster, an Eagle Scout, and a returned Peace Corps. What is that word?
Volunteer.
Volunteer, yeah. And an ecstatic graduate of Indiana U. Yay. So,
Indiana, Frangipana, woo!
So this all happened to you, and you were still a young fella. And when I met you, I think it was because we were doing the James Madison, the president.
That is the first thing we did. We had met on Robbie's No More Zoom, and we're talking, and I did a little gig as James Madison there, and then you invited me, and then great things happened.
They did, and we're just still inspired and astonished, aren't we? And do you know the thing about, now we had last month on the show, we had the Lincoln guy, and he talked about how Lincoln would have looked at things today, or how they would have overwhelmed it, maybe. What do you think about, maybe not. What do you think about James Madison? What would he have thought about this mess?
Well, obviously it is impossible to compare thoughts back then to thoughts today, and the incredible confusion and everything. So Madison was sort of the ultimate liberal, which in today's parlance weirdly makes him a conservative, which is really confusing. I mean, liberalism is individual human rights, the right to speech, the right to religion, the right to not have be occupied by a foreign power, this kind of stuff. So that's what they focused about back then.
And it worked for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, depends on what you mean by working, but I think it works real well.
Well, what do you think? I know you have a story that you want to be sure to tell us, but first of all, what did you personally learn from President Madison? What did he know that we should know? And pretty quick, too.
Well, the most important thing you can possibly do if you want to build a better world is to talk to people you don't agree with.
I love that. I've heard you say that before. How do you do that, though? It's so scary.
Well, when I was involved in Occupy Wall Street, I would simply interview people at all these marches and all these protests. I would take a camera and simply ask people, why are you here? What is important to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I talked to the Republicans during their marches, as well as I talked to Democrats and other liberals on their marches. And no one ever threatened me. I mean, all the stuff that you see happening today did not happen. I was right there with some of the most conservative Republicans you can mention, asking them pushy questions, and nobody threatened me.
Well, gee whiz, I wonder why not.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we did.
You know why? I think my personal belief is, now I don't know if you had a microphone or did you just talk to them, because my personal belief is that if you're carrying a microphone, you could ask almost anybody almost anything, and they won't threaten you.
Oh yeah, I would hold my camera right like this,
Yeah.
and hello, my name is Bil Lewis. I'm part of Occupy Boston. I'm interviewing people. Why are you here? Why do you care enough to spend your entire day out here? Blah, 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 blah.
And well, anyway, it's a great idea. Now, as an idea, can you recommend that? Is that something, say, high school students or ordinary citizens might do? Can we get into conversations with people we don't know and don't agree with?
Well, we can, but it's really difficult right now. You've seen all those videos of, people like me getting attacked on the streets.
Yeah. And
it's horrifying. I mean, they killed Charlie Kirk. They would kill me just as fast as they killed him.
Oh, faster.
Anyway, so I'm really depressed about all of that, but I'm still trying to do my best. I'm still out there talking to people, teaching high school, and doing my best in the small to build a better world.
Well, and that's what I wanted to hear your view on, because I think, and we've often talked about, you got to do your best. You have to do what you can. That's all there is. But still, having spent all this time with the president, what did he say? Is there anything he said or did that you kind of hold to your bosom, your manly bosom, and that comforts you, or that you take as an example?
I really relate to this guy. He is a nerd, 5'4", 100 pounds, and not really that good at talking to people. I mean, he's famous for not being good at talking to people, and yet he managed to become president and, change nations. So, I mean, he was famous for supporting women's education. And of course, his wife did so much. And when the famous reporter from England came, what was her name? Henriette or something. Anyway, boom, she was an equal. And so that, was part of changing America. And people look differently about women today than they did 200 years ago.
Well, and so there's a lot there, and I've always felt like you carried President Madison with you, kind of in your breast pocket, so that you could look at him and say, "Now, what would you do? What would you suggest at this time?" And I feel like we've learned a lot, from just following him and you around. What do you hope we would know? And then I'm going to let you tell about what you got coming up next. I just want you to know that. But what should we remember about him? See, I don't think he said much. Not like some presidents, as you just said. He isn't known for saying anything.
Yep.
So why did you like him so much?
He did not give great, massive speeches. He did not, really inspire people. So he was not a great orator or anything. He has a few pithy quotes, but very few. I mean, nobody remembers him. You look at the Federalist Papers, but the Federalist, and he makes incredibly good points. How do you make a government govern itself? And the idea that you must design, 3 branches of government and have compete ambition against ambition. This was the whole thing that, let the ambitious people, let the elephants fight.
Yeah.
Sort of it. And you look at Hamilton, who was saying yeah, but we need those elephants.
Yeah.
We need the rich people to support the union. And that was Hamilton's big thing. Jefferson and Madison were like, oh, I don't know so much about those rich people, even though we are rich. But Hamilton was very clear, no, we need them to support the union. And he pushed things that were not so good.
So we know a little bit about more about him than we did, but about Bil Lewis, we know about you're a not a Toastmaster. You were kind of the optimum Toastmaster.
I'm a high poobah.
Hi poobah.
Yes, I was district governor in Massachusetts. I had about 3,000 people who I was responsible for. I had about 50 reports, $50,000 to spend. So that's the order of magnitude of my responsibilities.
And I think that's considerable. And are you still active with Toastmasters?
And I'm still active. I am a pot nowadays, plain old Toastmaster.
Well, what I have admired, when I started out as in the National Speakers Association, we felt very frankly that we were far superior to the Toastmasters. No offense, but we felt that way. I don't think we feel that way anymore. What changes do you think you all have made that we're in awe of the accomplishments of the Toastmasters?
Okay, I mean, keeping in mind, of course, the NSA was started by Toastmasters.
Oh, everybody knows that.
But I don't know, NSA is a professional group. We are non-professional. We're people just trying to improve our skills a little bit. Some of us will end up becoming professionals and probably join the NSA. A lot of Toastmasters, when they go professional, they join the NSA. So, yeah, you are the people that we look up to because you're making money.
Well, a little bit. So given all of that, and here you've been all this busy, even though a very young man still, you did want to tell me about an upcoming program you have, or one that went by us while we were speaking.
So here is the story.
Okay.
I was sitting there about 6-8 months ago thinking, oh, yes, somebody from IU, oh, could you give some money? And I gave him $1,000 as usual. And I was thinking, well, what would I like to do? And what would get me to donate more money? Actually, I was thinking that. And I said, well, you know what? If I had a individual student that I was helping, that would really be different. And so I called the department and made a proposition. What if they invited me to come and give a colloquium on the work that I have done in omniscient debugging, going backwards in time in debugging, and then I would sponsor a student for a summer program.
Wow.
Summer study working on my stuff that I've done so I could give him something to do. This person would have what I had. When I was a student, I was impecuniary.
Yes.
Over the summer, I had no money, but a professor from the optometry department needed some help with interfacing a computer to his devices. And we built the first automated detector of retinitis pigmentosa which I know nothing about, but I know how to detect it. And that supported me for a glorious summer at IU. It was so wonderful. And I got to study and have fun, and I could do this for someone else. How much money would I donate if I could do this for someone else? Yes, I would donate $20,000, no question. And so a month ago, I gave a talk at Indiana University, and I had 2 students who were interested. We interviewed over Zoom. I chose one of them, and he will work over the summer on the ideas that I came up with, and he will have a good income. He will learn stuff about computer science that he didn't know, and who knows what his future will be after that. Maybe he will be so inspired by what I did that he will pursue it long term. There are other people. I have 291 references to my primary paper.
That's wonderful.
So it's become interesting. Anyway, so that was the idea. That's what I did. I spent this wonderful week there in Indiana. I got to see one of my old professors, and we had a great time together quietly. And the other old professor I couldn't find. They said he disappeared all of a sudden last year. And as I was getting on the bus to the airport, I was talking to this fellow next to me, and he was a student, and he said, "Dan Friedman? Oh, that was my major professor." And he goes and visits Dan in the old folks' home. And
watch it, kid.
Dan recognizes him, and sometimes Dan does not recognize him. I mean, dementia just like boom. But I left him my card, and perhaps Dan will. Often people in dementia remember the old times better than the new times. So I love this man. He made a difference in my life. And 10 years ago, he had a birthday party, and I got to tell him how much I appreciated him and how important he was. So that was my visit to Indiana. And Adam will start working next week.
That is wonderful. And I remember that birthday party you told about it. So we're lucky, we're lucky. The people we pass and meet and sit down and talk with. And so often that's the ones that are meaningful and that we really, really get to do something with. We have friends in common that, over the years, I don't know, I'm getting an old kid. See, now that's not a very professional thing to say. We shouldn't do that. We should be talking about how very wonderful and exciting and all this is.
Mm-hmm.
So
at what point do you say, I have gotten old? You're only getting old. When do you actually, now I'm old?
I don't know. I have a friend here in the old folks' home. I have a friend here who is 98. And she doesn't often remember how old she is. She'll say, "How old am I?" And I will tell her, and she'll say, "God, I'm old."
All right.
So, but that's okay, So I guess the point there would be, doesn't matter how old you are. You're doing, as you said, in talking to people. So let's see what our points are. Our points are, we will not be afraid to talk to people we don't agree with. We will reach out and we will share our ideas, and we will have some kind of confidence that somebody knows what's going on around here. And when all else fails, we will remember living in Thailand when the Prince Bira, was his name, visited our home with both of his wives. and then we're all. And in The King and I, at the end of the movie, where he tells everybody to get up because it isn't right for people to go about on crawling around. And as soon as the movie was over, they told them all to get back down again. And so I'm sitting here with these royal people. Royalty, as my son's friend says, and they're going. My maid. going by with a tray full of glasses, Cokes and things on her hands and knees, crawling past, because that's what they do. And I said, Sangad, you never did that for me. And she says, oh, Madame wanted me to. And so I guess my reason, you may well wonder why I would tell that story now. I don't know. It was just that somehow the more different things are, the more the same they are, the more we can reach out to each other. Yeah. So we have been able to talk our way through this exciting program. And so you could, if you wish, give an inspirational closing quote. Let's hear it, kid.
Well, first of all, do we have those pictures of me as James Madison? Yes, there I am teaching the classroom. As you can see, we have a lot of fun. The children right now are screaming, march, march. I've got them yelling their heads off. They love it. So it's James Madison. Teaching is the most wonderful thing in the world. And so what can I leave you with?
A hearty handshake.
If you want to make a difference in the world, talk to people you don't agree with.
Even if it means crawling across the room with a tray of drinks. Bil Lewis is one of my dearest friends. And I think it's all right to tell people that, don't you? And he would be happy to be one of your dearest friends. Tell them how to get in touch with you, Bill.
So I prefer to James Madison, the fourth president of the United States. If you Google President Madison and Bil Lewis, you will find me.
Well, now you will hardly believe this, but that kind of got eaten up. So say it again. How do we reach you?
So to reach me, you can Google Bil Lewis, President Madison, and you will see my webpage.
That's very good. So Bil Lewis is indeed President Madison and lots of other people too. And Bill, thanks so much for being here with us today. And then we'll think of some other things to do that will be fun. Because
Dorothy, I love you so much. You are the heart of the fire in my heart. I don't know, something like that.
Yes, I've never been that. This is very exciting. So we'll see you. Well, goodness me. So anyway, we'll see you again soon, and all our other dear friends. And we'll try and stay out of the water next time, because I feel like it may be that we'll have pneumonia, but maybe not. Anyway, thanks to our dear friend Bil Lewis. And this is Dorothy. And this is the end of Swimming Upstream radio show. Take care now.